And you know what's crazy is that they never gave us a Kyoshi movie. Like they really could have cashed in on that. A whole lot of people definitely will have watched it. Definitely more than Avatar: The Last Airbender live action, which was trash. And before anybody tried to defend it, how many of y'all have went back and rewatched it more than twice? And I'm being generous by saying that y'all went back and rewatched it more than twice. It wasn't trash like Last Airbender trash, but it was trash in the sense of like, if you was a real Avatar fan, you would get some Easter eggs here and there, but you'll still like push through it. Kyoshi is strong, independent female with a female love interest. That plot alone would make any Hollywood producer drool and foam at the mouth. Getting the live action instead of the Kyoshi movie is like saying that you like large pepperoni pizza, but instead they hand you a hot pocket that's cold in the middle. But the hot pocket is pepperoni. Same content, not the same thing.
The fuck would you show me something if I couldn't have it?
I feel like instead of them doing a live action Avatar adaptation again, they could have done something else completely. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. First things first, what they could have done was an Iroh spin-off series, which Iroh is a very likable character. But instead, they would show Iroh when he was younger and more in shape. And the entire series will follow along his spiritual journey, his journey with dealing with how his father died, also with how he felt about Ozai, how they grew up together, even showing parts of his son, how he grew up and their relationship with each other, along with Zuko's relationship with Iroh leading up to the beginning of the Avatar: The Last Airbender series, essentially making it similar to like a prequel, but not of the main character. It will also tie in perfectly if we follow Iroh through his spiritual journey, because that also ties in with Avatar and the Avatar state and the spirit world. And on top of that, it would give more insight on Fire Nation culture from Iroh's point of view. And on top of that, we'd be able to learn how he met the dragons and the firebending masters. They could have done an entire spin-off series on Iroh before anything else. So I mentioned how instead of a live action adaptation, they could have done a spin-off series where basically it's like a prequel of Iroh's story before leading up to Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Nickname, the Dragon of the West.
Another idea I want to toss out there, they could also have another spin-off series with Toph. Since we already know the beginning of Toph's story where she's with Team Avatar and so on, take place when she's older and she's a part of the police force. Also, the series to take place after Aang and Sokka's death and as soon as she left Republic City. So basically, it would be her going off on her own, grieving. Also, seeing her utilize her different forms of bending that she mastered over the years. Also, you can write her character falling back into underground fighting again simply because she don't know how to handle her feelings, or be a spiritual journey where you see like little glimpses or little flashbacks of Iroh dropping wisdom on her. Or it could be her having memories of Aang or Sokka, ending with her finding peace and solitude in the swamp at the beginning of Legend of Korra. This is how the Iroh chapters will go in the prequel. They will only need at max like 3 chapters. And the very first chapter will be called Leaves from the Vine. It will start off with Iroh's upbringing and him having Fire Lord Ozai as a brother, and along with him and his father's relationship with Fire Lord Zulon, and also to showcase how Fire Nation culture was during the 100-Year War. It will also showcase his wife and his son, and also Iroh's stint in the military and also his combat experience. Chapter 2, it will be called Falling So Slow, and episode 1 would be called My Little Soldier Boy, and it will start off with something going wrong during the Bossy Say invasion, and that's when Iroh will find his son dead, lifeless, and Iroh will pick up his son, similar to the scene of Batman picking up Jason Todd when he died, except though less blood because Nickelodeon. This chapter, he shows he has a mental breakdown, also showing Ozai taking Iroh's birthright from him as to be the next Fire Lord. Also his emotions after finding out his father died, not knowing that it was an assassination plan plotted on by his brother. But to continue on with his chapter 2, titled Falling So Slow, his downfall from grace and comfort. After the death of possibly his wife as well, along with his son, and then the death of his father as well, and also just to come to find out that his birthright was given to his younger brother just moments before his father's untimely death. At this point, Iroh will probably be at his mental breaking point, especially with that many of his loved ones dying around him. And the only one in the royal family to treat Iroh with somewhat any kindness would be Zuko. And that's simply because Zuko's mother has been banished and exiled at this point, claiming to take the fall for the death of Fire Lord Zulon. Chapter 3 will be called Come Marching Home. And that's when Iroh go on a soul-searching spiritual journey. He asks multiple key questions on why did my son have to die? Why did my wife have to die? Why did my father die? And so on and so on. Then he meditates, study the spirits, also meet the firebending masters, and also stumble across the Sun Warrior Society. And with him stumbling across the Sun Warrior Society and him meeting the Firebending Masters, we will be able to see this iconic scene again, but this time it would just be Iroh. But instead, what they will do is each one of Iroh's Dragon Dance movements, it will be like a brief moment, like a brief flashback of him having fond memories with his son playing, or him having fond memories of his wife, with each leading movement coming to the very end of the dance. Iroh will constantly be reflected in his mind, constantly regretting and saying that he wished that he could take back everything that he ever done, just for a chance to have his wife and son back. Dragons and Firebending Masters would know his heart and deem him worthy.
I understand.
Then Iroh will thank the Sun Warriors and he will feel final closure. And then he will come back home to the Fire Nation. And then after that, he will spend time with Zuko and mentoring him. And then all the events will lead up to the beginning of Avatar The Last Airbender. That was like off the top of my head in regards to like the Iroh prequel. But comment down below if y'all interested in hearing me talk about the Toph spin-off series where she will also have 3 chapters. And I can definitely go more in depth on that because she is a very interesting character. Exactly just how Iroh was just as interesting. But I want y'all to remember, I'm just a regular dude on YouTube, and I came up with that concept off the top of my head. And you telling me people like this, they couldn't think of anything original? And let me take that back. Original isn't the word. More like it's kind of lazy to do live action. Because we know for a fact that adaptation isn't going to compete with the original cartoon version. In my opinion, I think they should just stick with animation and good storytelling. Feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and also to push that notification button. And if you want to, you can join the membership, which I'll have the link in the description down below, where I talk about Avatar content, Naruto content, other anime content, and of course music content. Thank you.